Hey love, welcome back. I am Pauline and I am here today to talk about interlocks. Have you ever wondered, what are interlocks? Well, here we go. Interlocks. Interlocking is just a technique. I know we refer to it as if it's another brand or another lock type. It is a lock type, but the interlocking is just a technique that we use to lock the hair. Just like palm roll is a technique, or instant lock crocheting is a technique, interlocking is just a technique that we use to lock the hair. So the interlocking is just a technique where we take the end of the hair and pull it through the root of the hair repeatedly in opposite direction, creating that interlacing look. So in all reality, it looks like a braid, a cylinder braid, because a braid is flat, but with the interlocking technique, because typically four strands are used to interlock, it ends up looking like a cylinder braid. So that's pretty much what the technique is. Now there are several types of interlocking patterns that one can use to lock the hair. Some people use that 4-point technique to lock the hair. Some use that 2-point technique to lock the hair. There are others, but typically the 4 and the 2-point are the most commonly used techniques. Overall, that is what interlocking is. It's just a technique. So people with traditional locks can use that interlocking technique to lock the hair. It comes in handy when you're trying to have more of an active lifestyle that requires either working out, swimming, sweating, washing your hair more often. People typically will want to interlock their hair to create a more sturdy lock, to prevent the lock from unraveling so quickly, and to prevent you having to go to the salon so often to get it done. Sisterlocks is interlocking technique as well. Sisterlocks uses the interlocking technique. There's different interlocking technique that it uses, but overall Sisterlocks is an interlocking technique. So I see where some people get confused where they say, well, I have Sisterlocks, not interlocks. The Sisterlocks is just the brand, and underneath that brand is the technique that is used to create the lock. But Sisterlock is just a brand, and the interlocking is the technique. Just like your traditional locks is, even with traditional locks, Interlock, if people wish to interlock it, they're using that technique to interlock. So I hope that makes everything clear. But interlocking is just a technique, and different locks and different brands uses that interlocking technique to create that lock look. So pretty much any lock size can use this interlocking technique if they wish to use that technique for whatever reason. But any lock size can use that technique. So whether you have big traditional locks, you can use that technique. Micro locks, you can use that technique. And of course, Sisterlocks uses that technique. So regardless of how people may start their locks, they may start it with 2-strand twists, coil twists, extensions, or anything like that. Most likely, if they're not palm rolling, they're using the interlocking technique. Now, what their technique looks like, it might be different, but all in all, they're using that interlocking technique where you're just really interlacing, creating that T-like method to create a stable lock. There's many different ways to start your locks, but there's only 2 ways to maintain your locks, which is either palm roll or interlock it. Now, there is another way to maintain it, which is crocheting the new growth, but it is I only recommend it on thicker locks because you need enough hair to crochet. You cannot crochet Sisterlocks or micro locks. I would not recommend it because there's not enough hair to crochet. If you have thicker locks, you can use that crocheting technique to maintain your hair. But other than that, there's two. But if you want to include that, if you have thicker locks, you have three options to maintain your locks: palm roll, interlock, or crochet. But if your locks are on a smaller end, you can either, but it has enough hair, you can interlock or palm roll. But if it's really small, you're going to be in that interlocking pattern, that technique, because that's the best technique for smaller locks to prevent any breakage or anything like that. Smaller locks, I don't recommend palm rolling because it's too thin. You might, over time, it might break off. So interlocking will be the best bet. I personally love to interlock and prefer to interlock, but that's just me. So, but if you have any questions, once again, comment below. If you like this content, please give me a thumbs up, like it, share it, and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great day.